Now, what is your favorite curse word?
That doesn't seem like a smart thing to say here. Well, I got into a lot of trouble for sticking to my convictions on the question of whether a hot dog is a sandwich, which it clearly is not, and just have to accept the consequences of that position. Dog sitting, I think, in the neighborhood. I used to be pretty good at wrangling basset hounds. Anyway, it was honest work. You know, I don't think religion belongs to one political party. And when I go to church, the scripture I hear has to do with protecting the poor and spending time with the prisoner, healing the sick and caring for the stranger, which to me is another word for immigrant. It has a very clear set of moral and policy implications, none of which are things I would associate with the right wing. Christianity to me is about humility. It's about love. And if we want to put those values into political practice, at least by my lights, they lead us in a very progressive direction. When you're a mayor, everything you do has a direct impact on someone's life, from changing the way we do trash pickup to when we dealt with 1,000 vacant and abandoned houses. It was an initiative of ours, 1,000 houses in 1,000 days, and people come up to me all the time and let me know how that changed their neighborhood. We tore down the ones we had to, we saved the ones we could, and it really changed a lot of things for a lot of people. Bite my nails sometimes. Justin usually catches me on that. He says I chew loudly. I don't think that's true, but he's probably right. Well, if I get less than 8, you can see it in my mood. If I get less than 6, you can see it in my performance. Well, the most important thing we have to deal with is our democracy itself, because every other issue I care about, from climate change to gun violence to education, isn't going to get handled very well until we fix the structures of our government itself. That's why we need, if necessary, constitutional reform to get money out of politics, to make sure that districts are actually drawn so that politicians are chosen by voters instead of what's happening now, which is that politicians choose their voters by the district lines. We need a stronger and more robust system for handling all of the policy issues of the day. And the most elegant feature of our constitutional system is its capacity for self-healing, our ability through law and sometimes even through amendments to make the system work better for all of us. Last time I think I did Hotel California, but it turns out that's pretty long for karaoke. I hadn't thought about that. Let's go with Matt Damon. I think you could do a good job. I was not religious, almost to the point of being anti-religious as a teenager, only to find that faith came to play a very important part in my life as I grew older. Obviously, I experienced one form of it in that when I was first in the military, it was not possible for me to be out without losing my job. You see cases of discrimination everywhere we go, even today. Racial justice is a long way away from us. Sexism is alive and well and helps explain pay disparities that we see in just about every industry. We've all got a lot of work to do. There should be solidarity among all of us, whatever majorities and minorities we belong to beat that back, because we're all better off when discrimination doesn't twist the social and political fabric we live in. I think because I'm kind of analytical, they may underestimate the extent to which I'm emotional too, but that's why I'm analytical, because I experience a lot of powerful emotions and I think about what they mean and what I can learn from them. The political figure I was most starstruck by as a kid was Ted Kennedy. Just seemed larger than life, especially when you're in a room with him.
That our country's best days are standing.
Well, when I finished running for the DNC chair, it was a sprint. It was about an 8-week-long campaign that went from coast to coast, and at the end, I had nothing left. So I did whatever I do when I'm out of gas, which is find Chasten and go someplace with him, read a book, and just get back in touch with who I am. On a daily basis, there's not always a chance to take a trip when I'm tired, but when we curl up with our dogs, Buddy and Truman, it's pretty restorative pretty quick. Chasten is the love of my life. He's my husband. I love him because he makes me happy and because he makes me a better person. Risk. Board game. So in a speech in early 2015, I used that language, all lives matter, as a way that I thought would be a unifying message on why we needed to support racial justice and why we needed to support one another across and through law enforcement and the rest of the community. By later on that summer, it became more and more widely understood that that had emerged as a kind of counter slogan to Black Lives Matter. Once I realized it was being used in that way, I stopped talking about it that way. Nobody thinks that all lives don't matter. The point is, Black Lives Matter emerged because it had to be said, because a lot of people felt like they could no longer take for granted that their lives were being counted the same as everybody else's. And what Black Lives Matter has done has been to raise consciousness as well as try to fix policies that are leading to unarmed young black men being killed at alarming rates in our cities. And I've known throughout my time as mayor, as somebody who oversees a police force in a diverse community, that I have a responsibility to help deal with that. What would somebody who is an adversary of yours say about you? And somebody who were an adversary of mine, I wonder what they would say. I guess it depends on the adversary. Sometimes they say that I'm too calculating. Sometimes they say that I'm too impulsive, so I guess it depends who you ask. Hopefully voters will select the person they think can do the best job. Obviously, I am what I am. 37-year-old, gay, male, Episcopalian, Maltese American mayor. There are a lot of different people bringing different kinds of diversity to the conversation. I think that's a healthy thing. I think it will be extremely important for the next president to establish gender diversity and gender balance in the top levels of the administration, especially if the next president turns out to be a male.
More 2020 candidates are coming your way. Drop us a comment below and let us know what you'd like to ask them. You can also check out more presidential contenders in our full 20 Questions for 2020 playlist. And be sure to subscribe to NowThis so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for watching.